Merab is the best bantamweight of all time, and in my opinion, he should be a top 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC right now. I think the only people that should be above him, in my opinion, are Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria. Outside of that, he absolutely should be top 3. In my opinion, I think that he's higher than a Belal Muhammad, than a Dricus du Plessis, than a John Jones, and even maybe an Alex Pereira. I mean, this guy's resume is insane. Against Sean O'Malley, I said that he had no chance. I doubted him in that video. I was wrong. I doubted him in this video. I was wrong. Now, to be fair, I did pick Umar by a 48-47 decision, and I thought that he won the first 2 rounds, and I thought that his gas tank would hold up a little bit better where he would be able to edge out the 3rd round. Merab, it was a close round, and Merab was the one to edge out the 3rd round, and then I figured that he would win the last 2 rounds, but regardless, I doubted Merab again, and I'll say it again. I was completely wrong about Merab. I do not hate Merab, though. In a lot of his fights, I always root for him, even though I just don't think he's going to win, and he's undoubtedly the Bantamweight GOAT. I made a previous video months ago saying that he was the Bantamweight GOAT after beating Sean O'Malley, and I thought even if he lost to Umar, I still think that he would be the Bantamweight GOAT. But regardless, he beat Umar in impressive fashion. He humiliated him in the later rounds. And yeah, there's no competition. He's absolutely better than Dominic Cruz, and he's absolutely better than Aljamain Sterling. He's better than TJ Dillashaw. He is 100% the Bantamweight GOAT. I don't think that's up for debate anymore. I think he could lose his next 3 fights, and he still would be the 135 GOAT. And in terms of pound for pound, I think that he's higher than John Jones because I don't think John Jones has done anything to prove in the past 5 years. Again, I made a video also on that discussion, but Merab, I think he's higher than John Jones. I think that he's higher than Belal Muhammad. I think that he's higher than Dricus du Plessis. Granted, it's all pretty close in my opinion. I could understand someone saying that these guys are higher than the other. It's once you get to the top, it's all very close. I still think, obviously, Islam is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and I think Ilia Topuria should be number 2. I think Merab is right there at number 3, in my opinion, and this was an insanely entertaining fight. These guys were swinging, the grappling was fun. Merab, all of his fights, some of his fights aren't that exciting, like the Jose Aldo fight, but he's a sneaky, entertaining fighter. Because against Henry Cejudo, that was a really good fight. Sean O'Malley wasn't a great fight, but the showboating, the kissing, whatever, it kind of made it funny. This was a phenomenal fight. This had everything. Peter Yan, that was such a shocking performance. That it was a pretty good fight. The Morales fight, that was a really good fight. Great fight. The other fight with Jose Aldo was not that good, to be honest. But outside of that, he's had really entertaining fights. And that's only because Jose Aldo's takedown defense is so good. But yeah, he's a sneaky, entertaining fighter, in my opinion. And I think in order to beat Merab, and this is something that I really didn't take into consideration, you have to finish Merab. Yes, people like Umar, Sean O'Malley, they did take 2 rounds off of Merab. That is true. They lost a close decision against Merab. Even Henry Cejudo, he won round 1 and he lost the other 2. So it was a close 29-28 decision. But all those fighters clearly lost. I even think Jose Aldo, I think he won a round. So I just don't think that you could beat Merab in a decision because I think that you're just going to gas out so much quicker than everyone else. Merab is 100% on EPO, no doubt about that. And I'm not taking anything away from him because I think Umar and the Dagestanis are also on stuff. So it evens out. This is still very impressive, but it's just, there's no human being on earth that could fail that many takedowns and push that pace. That's natural. I know he said something a while ago and he said, oh, he started running and it made his gas tank better. And I'm just like, bro, that's not going to create this. You know what I mean? That's not going to give you that 25-minute pace. And it seems like he could go 50 minutes. So I just don't see that. He's 100% on EPO, but still a very good fighter on the feet. I figured that he would have success on the feet. I thought that he would land shots. I just thought that Umar would slightly outland him and land the bigger shots, which did happen in rounds 1 and 2. I thought that Umar would be able to do it for another round. His gas tank wasn't as good as I thought. Umar is still a very good fighter, and I still think he is a future champion, in my opinion, just not right now. And I'm happy for Merab. Umar did not deserve the title shot. I get why he got it, but he just didn't deserve it. All the people saying Merab was scared of him, it's nice to see. I like Umar, I like Merab, but still, it's nice when the underdog wins, and we get legacy. This is now Merab, in my opinion. I think he's arguably a top 10 fighter of all time. I mean, look at his last few wins. You have Morales, you have Jose Aldo, you have Henry Cejudo, Peter Yan, Sean O'Malley, Umar. I mean, his resume is just absolutely insane. He has other good wins too. I think that he is right now right around that 10 spot. I don't know what's next for him. I'll make a video probably tomorrow on what's next for every fighter. But that's what I thought. I feel like that was the real main event of UFC 311. One of the best cards I've seen in a while. Moving on to the actual main event, Islam Makhachev versus Moicano. Islam Makhachev, he breaks the title defense record. He breaks Khabib's record. Very impressive. But because of the competition and because of the short notice, it's Moicano, it's not Armin. Unfortunately, the lightweight GOAT conversation is still up in the air. I personally would lean Islam Makhachev, but again, this is just, I would have loved to see Armin in the fight, because if Islam beat Armin and it wasn't a robbery, he's the lightweight GOAT and it's just undisputed. You can't argue it. But because it's Moicano, it doesn't really feel like he broke a record. I'd like to see Islam get in there quick. He took no damage. Again, I'll make a video tomorrow on who he should face next. I have some unpopular opinions on who he should face next, but regardless, Arman Tsarukyan, I know Dana said that he doesn't deserve a title shot, or he's not getting the next title shot, which I understand, but I still would kind of want to see Arman, especially after the co-main event. I want to see how Arman does. I think that Arman is Islam's toughest challenge to date, outside of maybe a Volkanovski. I think that he's right up there with the most skilled, the most technical. I think his wrestling is the best that Islam has faced in a long time. And yeah, I want to see that fight. This fight, I was shocked. Renato kind of dropped him, not really, in the first round. Again, it was more of a slip, but still, Moicano was doing good on the feet. He's an underrated striker, but Islam just dominated in the grappling and was able to get the submission, which I figured Islam would finish him maybe early second round. I didn't think it would be in the first, but still amazing performance. He's the pound for pound number one, and Moicano is still a good win. Moicano in his prime, good win streak. He was a legit contender. Again, it's almost like a Khalil Roundtree situation where it's like, it's just not the best win, but it's still a solid win. It's up there with, it's a little bit better than his pre-title wins with Bobby Green, Drew Dober. It's a little bit better than those, but still would have loved to see if Armin didn't pull out. I wish we saw that fight. I think Armin has a legit shot. Moving on to the featured fight, Jamahal Hill versus Jiri Prochazka. Now, this was interesting. Again, I did horrible on picks for this card. I think I'm negative, I think I'm even for both of the 2025 cards so far. So off to a rough start, but still, I picked Jamahal Hill. I still don't think it was a bad pick. I figured, here was my, what I was thinking. I think that Jamahal Hill, his power is overrated, and we saw that in this fight. He hurt him to the body, though, in the second round, and Jamahal Hill won the second. So it was a very close fight that Jiri clearly won. But Jamahal Hill, I knew that his power was overrated, and I said that in the prediction. I just thought that Jiri has been hurt in every one of his fights against Uzdemir, I'm pretty sure. Dominic Reyes, he got KO'd but came back. His recovery is insane. He nearly got KO'd against Glover multiple times in that fight, against Pereira twice. And I thought, okay, his chin has never been great because of his defense. And he just came off of a brutal KO and even less recovery than a Jamahal Hill. And it was more brutal than Jamahal Hill's. Jamahal Hill stood up right away. Jiri had to be held up by like 5 different guys. And I just thought Yuri's chin would be a little bit worse, and he would at least get hurt enough to lose the rounds. Jamahal Hill, I mean, this is insane. Jiri got knocked out and his chin got better. He has a granite chin now. He's getting hit with shots. He did look a little bit more technical, a little bit better. And Jamahal Hill, his footwork, just like Jiri, is just not great. I wish we would have seen more leg kicks from Jamahal Hill, maybe the head kick. He really wasn't throwing kicks. Maybe he didn't want to get countered off of them, but still, I would have liked to see him have more kicks. Jamahal Hill did not look good. I'm just going to be honest. Jamahal Hill is tough. I think that he's overhated. I've been saying this for a while. I was rooting for Jiri, and I figured that Jiri was going to win. It just, there was something in the air. He brought the girl who had cancer, very inspirational. I figured that, there may be something in the air. No way he's going to lose in front of her. But I just thought the right pick was Jamahal Hill, and I still think Jamahal Hill is good. I still think that he could beat a Khalil Roundtree who doesn't have a ton of power. But yeah, I think that Jiri looked great. I know that he wants the trilogy. I only think, honestly, that Jiri probably shouldn't fight Pereira for the third time. It just doesn't interest me. I just don't think it makes sense. I think him versus Ankalaev is interesting. I would probably pick Ankalaev, though. I feel like that's one of those trap fights, but still, you just need a granite chin and insane power to beat Jiri, like a Pereira. And he's slowly becoming, this may be a hot take, he's slowly becoming one of the best light heavyweights of all time. He's definitely not the best. I'm not saying he's close to the best. There's other guys, John Jones, Daniel Cormier. There's a bunch of other guys, Pereira. But Jiri, he has a good resume. He has Jamahal Hill, former champ. He has Rakic. He has Ozdemir, Dominic Reyes, the guy who beat John Jones. He has Glover Teixeira, Rakic, a really good fighter. I mean, he's building a pretty good resume. If Pereira would have beat Adesanya in middleweight and would have never moved up, I mean, he would be on a crazy run right now. We'd be talking about him like we talk about Alex Pereira, but still amazing fight. Next up, we have Jailton Almeida versus Spivac. I said that Spivac is good and he would have success, and he was having lots of success. But Spivac has always been a little bit chinny. He got kind of chinned by Gane, I think by Aspinall. And Almeida, it was about even for grappling, but he was able to crack him on the feet and finish him via TKO, ground and pound. Very impressive performance to get a guy like Spivac out of there in the first round. Almeida, he's a finisher. Outside of that Lewis fight, he's a finisher, and I would have liked to see, I kind of wish that he beat Curtis Blades so that there would be more hype, but since he lost to Blades, I still want to see the Aspinall fight. I still think he poses a decent threat to Aspinall, at least in the grappling, even on the feet. But yeah, moving on to the opener, Kevin Holland versus De Ridder. I picked Kevin Holland. I figured I would regret it. I just thought that Kevin Holland would be able to survive, and Ritter's gas tank really isn't that good. It's still, it's not great. He gasses out in a lot of his fights. And I figured that if Holland is able to survive the first round or two, and I knew that he would lose the first round, I thought that he would be able to not get submitted. But unfortunately, he does. He's 1-4 in his last 5, and he's won 5 out of his last 13 fights. He's not even a gatekeeper anymore, and to be honest, I feel like we have to have a conversation very soon about Kevin Holland. If he keeps on losing, he should be cut. Like, he is a legit bad fighter. He is not talented. He has no business being at 185. No business. I mean, this guy got 50-44'd by Marvin Vettori. I get it was prime Marvin Vettori, but still, he is not a 185er. He has to go back down to 170. And even still, I don't think he's skilled enough for that division. I don't think that he beats Prates or Morales. I don't think his striking is all that. I don't think he's bad. I think that he's kind of a can crusher. And yeah, I just don't think he's that good. He lost to 40-year-old Wonderboy Thompson. Showed no fight IQ. Doesn't have a ton of heart. Horrible attitude. Super unlikable. And yeah, he's close to being cut. I'm just going to be honest. He is not that good. I know I'm kind of coping right now because I picked Kevin Holland, and I said that this is likely going to be my last time picking him unless he goes up against a can. I feel like I always pick Kevin Holland. I always fall for the bait, but it's whatever. The prelims, again, Payton, Talbott got fraud checked, and people are saying, oh, this is the UFC's fault, whatever. They shouldn't have given him Barcelos. It's like, dude, Barcelos is not that good. Barcelos, he's not bad. I said that Barcelos could have success and then eventually get cracked because he got KO'd by Umar, who doesn't have a ton of power. But Talbott, man, Barcelos is not good enough to get 30-26 by. This is one of the worst fraud checks I could remember. This is like Jared Gordon versus Pimlet, except 10 times worse. This was a horrible performance by Talbott. I will say Talbott has very good submission defense. He has heart. He definitely had heart because he was pushing the pace in the third after losing. He was going for the finish. He stayed calm when he was almost getting submitted. I'll give him that. His grappling is not there, though. It's just not there. His takedown defense isn't there. Honestly, he lost a ton of hype. I'd like to see Payton Talbott take about a year or two off. He's still super young. He's not good enough right now. He is UFC level. He's just, I don't know. I mean, Cameron Simon is a very good fighter, and he destroyed him. Granted, it wasn't a ton of grappling. I see a lot of people saying send him to Dagestan for a few years. I completely agree, in my opinion. Moving on for the rest of the card, the prelims were all right. I didn't do great. You had Bekov, who I picked, getting a crazy ground and pound TKO. Guskov, who again, I said Elikana could have success, and he did have success. I did pick Guskov by a finish. That was a decent fight. Dawson versus Ferreira. Pretty boring. I picked Dawson by a decision. I thought Ferreira would be able to get up a little bit easier, and I thought that he would do a little bit better on the feet. Dawson, even though it was a boring fight, there were entertaining moments. Dawson was swinging in the pocket. So yeah, that was an okay fight. Rosa, Perez, I should have picked Perez. I should have known to not go with the betting odds because the odds makers, they have no clue how to do female fights. Absolutely no clue. Outside of that, Nakamura, no fight IQ, genuinely cut him from the UFC. One of the lowest IQ fighters I've ever seen. Genuinely, I mean, he got 30-26 by Gafarov, who's not a bad fighter. But again, if you're getting 30-26, you should not be in the UFC. Cut his ass, get him out of here. And then other than that, I picked Sopai by decision. He won. He's very good, well-rounded. He just has a horrible gas tank. He probably won't make it super far because of that. Tagir, I picked him versus Carpenter. Pretty much thought that the fight would go like that. Decent fight. Actually, no, that was horrible. The Sopai-Tercios fight. Tercios very tough. That was an amazing fight. But yeah, that is my recap. That is what I thought of the card. Let me know who you guys picked. A lot of you guys picked Merab. Again, you guys, proved me wrong, whatever. Merab, he proved me wrong again. That is it for me. And yeah,